I'm Richard Lewis reporting for Cadred.org, or as James was mumbling while I was doing my introduction, I'm Richard Lewis, I look like a fuck, and look at my hat, is what he was saying, should be my new introduction, which it might well be. But anyway, you know who this guy is. He's one of the biggest esports celebrities on the block right now. It is, of course, Too Good, although I heard you're struggling to be relevant these days.
Oh, yeah. I heard back from the NI... I heard back that the NIP owner said I lack substance these days. So I'm working on that. I thought it was quite funny.
Well, let's see if we can find some in the next 15, 20 minutes. Right, so let's start with the big news. Obviously, you kind of effectively announced that the Good Studio was closing, lots of boo-hoo, and then, of course, one of the worst-kept secrets in esports, you were getting picked up by DreamHack, and you were starting this whole... You were being reborn, you might say, into this new, wonderful environment to create content. So how's that all mapping out? What's the future holding? How's it shaping up at the moment?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we even talked about it like with Robert early this year, like really early this year, that we wanted to do a studio together, and then there were lots of stuff that DreamHack were taking care of. It takes a long time to get like the partnerships through that they did, so it started a little bit later, and then we now basically are partnered. So the Good Studio currently are doing the Aces ROG Dream League. That's pretty much our launch product for the new studio. And I say new studio, it's actually a temporary studio, but it looks great. The new studio, I believe, is coming early 2014. So effectively, the Good Studio talent are working with DreamHack to actually build something, I guess, which is kind of like, you know, if you've got ESL and ESL is that and ESL TV, I guess this is like DreamHack TV in a way. It's going okay. Yeah, the first products, we really enjoy ourselves on camera. It's still like there's little niggles right now. I notice like there's 4 people with different visions maybe within the team. So you know sometimes I might play with the lights or break the fourth wall or you know and stuff, and everyone's like, "Well, we're not sure of that." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's you know so." It's finding the balance between the Good Studio and DreamHack and where we are, because like I didn't think it, but we're still a lot crazier than DreamHack, as in what we do on camera. So I don't know if we're going to ever tone that down, but it will work its way out. And hopefully the next stage is getting stuff like the Good Show on DreamHack TV and other products that we actually do. So we'll see where it goes, but so far really happy. Best team I could hope to work with, the DreamHack guys, they're great, and once they just give me full control of the studio, I'll be able to fuck their studio up just like I did mine, like breaking everything.
Well, let's talk about the return of the Good Show. I think that's what a lot of people are going to wonder about. First of all, can you confirm, is it going to be a full reunion of all the original kind of people that were living in your frat house come studio, or is it going to be kind of the same format, the same irreverent format, but maybe with different people?
Well, I would say the original team was Newman, Hellspawn, me, Semler, Adabisi, and then the later one came on was Bruno. So that's 6 people. Apollo always kind of dropped in, and Draskell, but I always kind of felt that they shouldn't have be on that show because they are the main commentators for the games, and if they're going to share opinions of stuff they don't like, they normally should share it with Blizzard directly or Valve, because at the same time it's not for them. They're there to support the players and support the game. So I guess the only person that we're still looking at, and if that person will return, assuming everyone else is Adabisi. So Adabisi came to the studio. We supported him the best we could. We actually told him we were I wanted to do more for him, and I had some contracts that didn't go the way I wanted to. So he kind of turned up, and then literally I was like, okay, this is not the contract. And I was like, well, Mike, you know that I was going to give you this and this. I'm just going to give you this, and unfortunately not that. But he got a lot of perks from it, and I've actually been pushing DreamHack to hire him. Because, as I say, there's 4 people with visions on the DreamHack TV studio. I would prefer, Mike to be there in charge. Yeah. And the Good Studio, the way that we work now, is kind of different because we don't have to go to sponsors directly. DreamHack essentially in charge of, the sales for the brand, and it coincides with DreamHack. So I was like, you should get Mike for this position. So there's been negotiations around that. So if Mike comes back, it will most likely be with DreamHack, depending if something else goes his way. But I think I think he's a great addition. And also, there's a few key people. When you do a show like that, you really need someone to know the game well, like really know it. And he knows StarCraft great. So I don't want the show to become, hey, we know a lot about Dota, and who's going to chip in on StarCraft? Because if Hellspawn, gets more talk time, I'll just fucking kill him. So I need Mike there. So hopefully, if the good show comes back, we really want Mike, and so we'll see what DreamHack and him can arrange if they do anything.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the whole sort of Dota 2 and StarCraft discrepancy at the moment. It's fair to say I think you guys have gone really balls deep in terms of content of Dota 2. It's been a huge focus for you guys. I was really surprised to see you at a StarCraft event, actually. Like, when you turned up, I was like, what the fuck's he doing here? Like, I thought maybe I'd gotten to the wrong event myself. You're going to have to kind of... I don't think there's enough Dota 2 content you can put out to meet the kind of aims that you are, which is to have this daily kind of output. So are we going to see you guys coming back to StarCraft 2? Are we going to start seeing more high-quality StarCraft 2 content coming out of the new studio?
The thing is about Dota 2 and why we picked it up and why we like it is, one, it's actually like when I was playing Quake or training, Dota 2 was one of the other games Dota 1 was one of the games I actually just spent playing until 6 a.m. So I actually really like the game. So it's a game I feel comfortable being on camera with because I play it regularly. StarCraft 2, I didn't do that so much, so I would always make sure that we had 1 to 2 people in the studio that knew StarCraft 2. With WCS going the way it did last year, there was no option for Apollo apart from to be on WCS or become irrelevant. Yeah. So obviously, we spoke about that when he went to ESL. So now with Dota 2, I think the Dota 2 content that we would like to continue doing should only be like 3 days a week. I think anything more than that kind of suffocates the audience in terms of you're just smothering them with too much of the same thing. But of course, at DreamHack and the Good Studio, we're always trying to raise the bar. So it's good to have set time for pre-production to make it better, set time for on camera to execute it well. So then we look at StarCraft 2 and what's kind of available for the Good Studio or DreamHack. And really, there was only one person that I kind of noticed that I felt was like really quite good, and that was Nathanius instantly. And I was like, I had him over at the studio. We gave him some gigs through the agency, the Good Agency, and we got him like a Fragmite Masters and helped push for him for DreamHack Summer, which he went to. It was actually Apollo and Adebisi's idea to bring him. And when he came over, we were like, yeah, he's really good. But basically, what I said to Nathanius, I was like, look, your career, if you come to the Good Studio, you're a single person, and it's completely now almost up to DreamHack to bring in the budgets to create StarCraft 2. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good move for DreamHack for an online section, even if it's qualifiers into the DreamHack Open, which is the LAN events. So I pretty much told him his best shot was going to ESL and maybe trying to work directly with Sean, because they work really well together on camera. So I can't see StarCraft 2 coming back to the Good Studio in a good way. Although, I've heard stuff about WCS, like it's not going to be 4 seasons, it will probably be 3 seasons or something like that. So there might be a little bit more room for people to do something next year. And but we have to see what the final results were, because I don't want to believe anything I hear about what Blizzard are doing WCS till I see it, because, so nothing planned at all for StarCraft 2. Dota 2 content right now, if I wanted to do other content, I would like to do a tiny bit of Hearthstone, like, keep it fun, keep it light, because that's what I think it is right now, but it is entertaining. I would love to do a bit of Street Fighter. I really think the European scene needs a little bit more of that, and a lot of people ask me, hey, Quake, you love Quake, and I'm like, well, at the same time, yeah, I do love Quake, but the only reason we stopped doing Quake on like the arenas and stuff at the studio is because Faceit did Quake, and also now Zoot Live does Quake. So if we do Quake, we kind of remove traction from their products, and if they're helping that side of the community, I would rather let them have the whole pie than try and take a slice of their business. So I'm happy that Faceit are doing Quake, so we don't look at that at the moment either, which is unfortunate because we do love Quake. But
is it going to be weird being in a studio that's going to be pumping out effectively daily esports content, high quality esports content, yet you're going to completely ignore League of Legends?
Well, it's not that's not the good studio. Is we will do content that the good studio fits and can do. DreamHack are more than capable, if they wanted to do anything like the World of Tanks or League of Legends, but you just probably wouldn't see any of the good studio members on there. It wouldn't be like the NASL, where they're like, oh, okay, you don't know what the fuck's going on with StarCraft 2, here, have some World of Tanks, pay the bills, please commentate, you know. It's
but is that separation going to be there, though? Because, I mean, technically you're an asset to be deployed by DreamHack now.
Yeah, and if anyone came to DreamHack and said, we want to do a really shitty game and pay you lots of money, right? I think everyone at our studio would be like, well, we're doing Dota monthly and the good show and maybe full of Steam and other stuff. Like, you know, it's not an income that we need an addition of. And that would be when DreamHack would be like, we're selling content, which is great, because they can produce great quality any shows. Doesn't matter if it was League of Legends or Dota 2. And therefore they can look for new talent. And those talent would be part of DreamHack TV as opposed to the good studio. Right. You know, so I still maintain that, you know, it's like, why would you want to be on IP TV doing a fucking, like, product that you didn't enjoy? Surely that's going to be really shit. Like, the whole point of what the good studio is that we enjoy the shows we do. Like, a lot of the shows we do for free, you know, because like I mean, when Heart of the Swarm came out, and also like we did a Dota 2 tournament, we just did it for free and paid the prize money, just because we were like, it was fun. So everyone was just sat down, did it free, and it was really weird because we did a good job on both of them, and people came to us and said, hey, we'd like you to do the international qualifiers because we saw what you did.
So again, I mean, I know you're quite not a control freak, but I'll phrase it that you like to be the master of your own destiny. So how much was it, or like, were you worried about surrendering that creative control? How much of the meetings that you had with DreamHack were about you still being able to be the master of that destiny? Was it difficult for you?
We haven't actually had those meetings in terms of who and what, but also the ASUS ROG Dream League is DreamHack's. It's their IP. Dream League, DreamHack's IP. It's their vision, right? But they have to attune what their talent can do and what people enjoy about that talent to join the vision. So we haven't had a kind of, this is where we're going and who's in creative control. And, you know, that's actually not because of, people are like stupid and it's an oversight. It's mainly because we haven't talked about it, because we work together so much and everyone likes what we do. When we work together, we like what we do each. And also time constrictions, you know, it's everything goes super fast. It's like, as soon as DreamHack are finished with a live event and they come home, they get like 2 days rest and then they go into the next one. And and you know, even if they're running the ASUS ROG Dream League, they're also preparing for everything at DreamHack Winter. So, you know, there's not always time to kind of put your finger up and be like, hey, creative control, who is driving this? You know, so, you know, I've decided, let's just get it done, the first event, and then we'll talk about it later. And in terms of creative control of anything the good studio directly kind of develop and like kind of produce as a product, like the good show, it's our creative control, but also there's a lot of talented people within DreamHack, like Coral, Milton, the producer, Nicholas, and, you know, even Thomas and Robert at the, you know, I wouldn't say higher ends, but they don't directly focus on some of like the smaller information about what's happening on the show, but they handle a lot of the esports and higher decisions. They have great ideas, so when we come together, we normally figure it out. So I don't feel that it's, I haven't worked on my own product on their studio yet, so I don't know how much of a control freak I am, but I'm not scared, because I'm a really good prima donna, so I'll get my way.
I want to ask you, I mean, because you've got these very, well, look, I think one of the reasons why the Good Studio was successful was it was almost like the antithesis to that super fake, everyone in esports is so professional, everything is so stylized and slick, and look at us having such a great time in esports. You guys kind of kept it real and earthy and raw, and, you know, you weren't afraid to say outrageous things on air and have some fun with almost like baiting the controversy that the esports community loves so much. Now, I wanted to pick your brains, because I know we were talking about it off camera, and I just want to see how much you'd be willing to say on camera, about the current kind of crop of esports talent that's out there, like at the moment, the people that kind of occupy these positions of personality. Do you think we're seeing a shift now where people are becoming more real within esports because of the success of things like the Good Studio, or are we starting to see things becoming, you know, as fake as they ever were, if not more so?
It's odd, in the sense that I think the Good Studio, the main thing that we've been able to achieve is we were able to kind of innovate in some products, like, you know, doing things like live chat polls and stuff, and like some of the Dota 2 things, and how we produced our content and how we coded it, because we were small and slim and had to kind of be smart. We actually pushed the industry, I would say, kind of forward a little bit on what people expected from production value. And obviously we couldn't take the next step without DreamHack, and that's a great partnership. And DreamHack again are now doing it with us with the new league. In terms of how talent are on camera, the biggest advantage that we had to start with is that I probably know a lot of people in esports, so I was able to kind of like pick who I wanted, which is a really nice feeling when you approach somebody and they want to do it. And we were actually live in the studio. Not many people still have shows where they're all together in a studio live. In terms of have talent, on-screen talent, kind of changed or become a little bit more real? No, I don't think they have. I think a lot of people that have been around before me or at the same time as me, etc., haven't been influenced by me at all, and they have their kind of their style and their tricks. I really don't think we've kind of changed the way people do it. I think people notice there's a trend of the community reception to us, but replicating it is kind of difficult, because even if you say the good show is me, Adabisi, Semler, and Hellspawn, and you say, well, pick a good, and Bruno, and you say, pick another 5 people, put them in a room together, and make a better version of the Good Studio. I don't think there's 5 people that necessarily could. I think there's very good people in different positions. Like, you could have DJ Wheat as host. You'd be pretty decent on there as well. Nice. You need like is it Kennegat? Yeah. For like something maybe Dota 2 or StarCraft, because I know he likes both. You know, like outspoken people. But you know, if you were doing it as a work environment and you came to a place, it might not feel awesome straight away, but because we live together, and that's maybe why it helps. So yeah, I don't think many of the talent have changed, but I also think that could be a problem. Not because I think that the way that we entertain people is the way that the community necessarily want to be entertained, or the way it should be in esports. But there are definitely people that I see that have kind of the same tricks. Even myself, actually, I think potentially for me, like DJ Wheat, Red Eye, some of the older guys will probably be the ones that get replaced, because the younger audience and etc. will just be like, they won't get Red Eye's Duran Duran jokes, and they won't know DJ Wheat's like history and how he's been everywhere, and then you'll get some youngster with who could be 19, a little bit confident, and isn't afraid to do stuff and has fun and has good banter and social skills, and they'd be like, that's who I want to watch. So yeah, I think talent will start changing over the next 5 years. I think I'll be one of the next hosts and people on TV to go in the next 5 years as well, and hopefully we get more people, but we don't see them. Like, fuck, like, where is everyone hiding? Like, why is it still me, DJ Wheat, Red Eye, like, on hosting? I mean, Jeff's new to hosting, but, he got his hosting gig with DreamHack because I was like, this guy, you want this guy? And then he's done great, but I'm sure he won't want to be around for 5 years. Anyway, talking a lot. Is your camera dead yet?
Yeah, well, no, we're getting the signal from the cameraman. You were the one who wanted to keep it short. I knew, like, if we got talking, we go on for ages. But look, well, just in a word, I'll ask you something quickly about Reborn, in a word. When?
I showed it to you here.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to say that on camera. I've seen it. I've played it, kind of.
Well, yeah. Well, I brought it with me to Home Story Cup. It's mainly the engine. I just thought I'd show, like, you, and I'm going to show Red Eye a little bit later, and just kind of explain what we're doing and just get a little bit of feedback. I think version 4 of the engine, even though it's not a complete rebuild of the engine, but version 4 of the engine should be done by like January, and we're paying for artwork this month with Tallyware Games, which are a great company from Stockholm. And yeah, I'm not really sure. If I don't get the Kickstarter done by summer, people will mug me and just like rape me, and you know, like that's not what I want unless I have like many fangirls, but I don't think I do. So
that's Dota 2 for you. Anyway, look, it's great to catch up with you again. We're going to wrap this up quickly. We didn't want to keep him because his time is so awesome and valuable.
I'm down the pub in a second.
But anyway, that was too good. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and do stay tuned to the website. We're going to have more interviews from here at the Home Story Cup 8 in Cray.